Justin, Part 5. Sometimes I think my head is so big because of all of it's full of dreams. John Merrick of Bernard's Pomerance's The Elephant Man. Olivia's brother. The first time I met Olivia's brother, I had to admit I was totally taken by surprise. I shouldn't be. Of course, Olivia's told me about his syndrome, has described what he's looked like, but I guess I assumed he'd be more normal looking by now. Like, when I was a kid, I was born with a cleft lip and I had plastic surgery to fix it. Sometimes you can't even tell except for that little scar above my lip. I guess I thought her brother would have some scars here and there, but not this. I definitely wasn't expecting to see this poor little kid in a baseball cap who's sitting in front of me right now. Actually, there are two kids sitting in front of me. One is totally normal-looking kid with curly blonde hair named Jack. The other is Augie. I like to think that I'm able to hide my surprise, and I hope I do. Surprise is one of those emotions that can be hard to fake, though. Whether you're trying to look surprised when you're not trying to look surprised, and when you are. I shake his hand. I shake the other kid's hand. I don't want to focus on his face. Cool room, I say. Are you Via's boyfriend, he says. I think he's smiling. Olivia pushes down his baseball cap. Is that a machine gun? The blind kid asks, like I haven't heard this before. When we talk about the Zydeco for a bit, then Via takes my hand, leading me out of the room, and soon as we close the door behind us, we hear them laughing. I'm from Brooklyn, one of them sings. Olivia rolls her eyes and smiles. Let's go hang out in my room, she says. We've been dating now for 2 months. I knew from the moment I saw her and the minute she sat down at our table in the cafeteria that I liked her. I couldn't keep my eyes off her, really. She's beautiful, with olive skin and the bluest eyes I've ever seen in my life. At first, she acted like she only wanted to be friends. I think she kind of gives off that vibe without even meaning to. Just stay back. Don't even bother. She doesn't flirt like all the other girls do. She looks like right you in the eye when she talks to you. She's like daring you. So I just kept looking right at her right in the eye too. Like I was daring her right back. And then I asked her out and she said yes, which rocked. She's an awesome girl. I love hanging out with her. She didn't tell me about August until our third date. I think she used the phrase craniofacial abnormality to describe his face. Or maybe it was craniofacial anomaly. I know it was one word. She didn't use deformed, though, because that word would have registered with me. So, what did you think? She asked me nervously the second we were inside her room. Are you shocked? No, I lie. She smiles and looks away. You're shocked. I'm not, I assure her. But just like what I said before, he's just like what I said he'd be. She nods. She plops down on her bed. Kind of cute how she still has a lot of stuffed animals on her bed. She takes one of them, the polar bear, without thinking. She puts it on her lap. I sit down on the rolling chair by her desk. Her room is immaculate. When I was little, she says, there were lots of kids who never came back for a second play date. I mean, lots of kids. I even had friends who wouldn't come over to my birthdays because he would be there. And never actually told me this, but it would get back to me somehow. People just don't know how to deal with Augie, you know? I nod. It's not like they know they're being mean, she adds. They're just being scared. I mean, let's face it, his face is a little scary, right? I guess, I answer. But you're okay with it? She asks me sweetly. If you're not too freaked out or scared, are you? I'm not freaked out or scared, I smile. She nods and looks down at the polar bear on her lap. I can't tell whether she believes me or not. Then she gives her polar bear a kiss on the nose and tosses it to me with a little smile. I think she means she believes me, or at least that she wants to. Valentine's Day. I give Olivia a heart necklace for Valentine's Day, and she gives me a messenger bag. She says it's all out of floppy disks. It's very cool how she makes things like that. Earrings out of pieces of circuit board, dresses out of t-shirts, bags out of old jeans. She's so creative. I tell her she should be an artist someday, but what she wants to be a scientist or geneticist, of all things. She wants to find cures for people like her brother, I guess. We make plans for me to finally meet her parents. A Mexican restaurant at Amsfort Avenue near her house on Saturday night. All day long, I'm nervous about it. And when I get nervous, my tics come out. I mean, my tics are always there, but they're not like they used to be when I was little. Nothing like a few hard blinks now and then, occasionally a head pull. But when I'm stressed, they get worse, and I'm definitely stressing out about meeting her folks. They're waiting inside when I get to the restaurant. The dad gets up and shakes my hand, and Mom gives me a hug. I give Augie a hello, fist punch, and I kiss Olivia on the cheek before I sit down. It's so nice to meet you, Justin. We've heard so much about you. Her parents couldn't be nicer. Put me at ease right away. The waiter brings over some menus, and I notice his expression the moment he lays eyes on August, but I pretend not to notice. I guess we're all pretending not to notice things tonight. The waiter, my tics, the way August crushes his tortilla chips on the table with a spoon and crumbs them into his mouth. I look at Olivia and she smiles at me. She knows. She sees the waiter's face. She sees my tics. Olivia is a girl who sees everything. We spend the entire dinner talking and laughing. Olivia's parents ask me about my music, how I got into the fiddle and stuff like that, and I tell them about how I used to play classical violin, but I got into an Appalachian folk music band and then Zydeco. And they were listening to every word like they were really interested. They tell me to let them know the next time my band's playing a gig, and they would come and listen. I'm not used to all this attention, to be truthful. My parents don't have a clue about what I want to do with my life. They never ask. We never talk about things like this. I don't think they even know I traded my Baroque violin for an 8-string Hardanger fiddler 2 years ago. After dinner, we go back to Olivia's house for some ice cream. Their dog greets us at the door. An old dog, super sweet. She'd thrown up all over the hallway, though. Olivia's mom rushes to get paper towels, while Dad picks up the dog like it's a baby. "What's up, old girlie?" he says to the dog. All the dogs in heaven tongue hang out, wagging her tail in the air in awkward angles. Dad tell Justin how you got Daisy, says Olivia. "Yeah," says Augie. Dad smiles and sits down on the chair with the dog still cradled in his arms. It's obvious he's told the story lots of times, and they love to hear it. "So, I'm coming home from the subway one day," he says, and this homeless guy I've never seen in the neighborhood before, pushing this floppy mutt in a stroller, and he comes up to me and says, "Hey, mister, you want a dog?" And without thinking about it, I say, "Sure." "How much you want?" He says, $10. So I give him 20. And I had in my wallet, and he hands me the dog. "Justin, I'm telling you, you've never smelled anything so bad in your life. She stank so much I can't even tell you." So I took her right from where the vet down the street and then brought her home. "Didn't even call me first, by the way," Mom interjects as she cleans the floor, to see if I'm okay with him bringing home some sick homeless guy's dog. The dog actually looks over at Mom when she says this, like she understands everything everyone is saying about her. She's a happy dog. I kind of like how she feels. I like Olivia's family, and they laugh a lot. My family's not like this at all. My mom and dad got divorced when I was 4. Pretty much, they hate each other. I grew up spending half of a week at my dad's house, at his apartment in Chelsea, and the other half at my mom's place in Brooklyn Heights. I have a half-brother who's 5 years older than me, and barely knows I exist. For as long as I can remember, I felt like my parents could hardly wait for me to get old enough to take care of myself. And you can go to the store by yourself. Here's the key to the apartment. It's funny how their worlds are like overprotective to describe some parents, but no words mean the opposite. What word would you use to describe parents who don't protect you enough? Underprotective? Neglectful? Self-involved? Lame? All of the above? Olivia's families tell each other, "I love you" all the time. I can't even remember the last time my family said that to me. By the time I go home, my tics have all stopped. Our town. We're doing the play Our Town for the spring show this year, and Olivia dares me to try out for the lead role. The stage manager, and somehow I get it. Total fluke. Never got any lead roles in anything before. I tell Olivia she brings me good luck. Unfortunately, she doesn't get the female lead. Emily Gibbs, the pink-haired girl named Miranda, gets it. Olivia gets a bit part, and it's also Emily's understudy. I'm actually more disappointed than Olivia is. She almost seems relieved. I don't love people staring at me, she says, which is sort of strange coming from a pretty girl. A part of me thinks maybe she blew her audition on purpose. The spring show is at the end of April. It's mid-March now. So that's less than 6 weeks to memorize my part. Plus rehearsal time. Plus practicing with my hand. Plus finals. Plus spending time with Olivia. It's going to be a rough 6 weeks, that's for sure. Mr. Davenport, the drama teacher, is already manic about the whole thing. He will drive us crazy by the time it's over, no doubt. I heard, though, through the grapevine that he's been planning on doing The Elephant Man, but changed it to Our Town at the last minute, and changed the look. It took a week off our scheduled rehearsal. Not looking forward to the craziness of next month and a half. Ladybug. Olivia and I are sitting on the front steps, and she's helping me with my lines. It's a warm March evening, almost like summer. The sky is bright, cayenne, but the sun is low and sidewalks are streaked with long shadows. I'm reciting, yes, though suns come up over 1,000 times. Summers and winters have crackled the moons a little bit more, and rains have brought down some of the dirt. Some babies weren't even born before have begun talking regular sentences already, and a number of people who thought they were right young and spry have noticed that they can't bound up a flight of stairs like they used to without their heart fluttering a little. I shake my head. I can't remember the rest. All that can happen is a thousand days, Olivia prompts me, reading the script. Right, that's it, I said, shaking my head. I sigh. I'm wiped, Olivia. How the heck am I going to remember all these lines? You will, she answers confidently. She reaches out and cups her hands over a ladybug that appears out of nowhere. See? A good luck sign, she says, slowly lifting it to the top hand to reveal the ladybug walking on the palm of her other hand. Good luck or just hot weather, I joke. Of course it's good luck, she answers, watching the ladybug crawl up her wrist. There should be a thing about making a wish on a ladybug. Augie and I used to do that with fireflies when we were little. She cups her hand over the ladybug again. Come on, make a wish. Close your eyes. I dutifully close my eyes. A long second passes. Then I open them. Did you make a wish? She asks. Yep. She smiles, uncups her hand, and the ladybug, as if on cue, spreads its wings and fly away. Don't you want to know what I wish for? I ask, kissing her. Nope, she says shyly, looking up at the sky, which at this very moment is the exact color of her eyes. I made a wish too, she says mysteriously. But she has so many things she could wish for, so I have no idea what she's thinking. The bus stop. Olivia's mom, Augie, and Jack and Daisy come down to the stoop just as if I'm saying goodbye to Olivia. Slightly awkward since we are in the middle of a nice long kiss. Hey guys, says the mom, pretending not to see anything, but the two boys are giggling. Hi, Mrs. Pullman. Please call me Isabel, Justin, she says again. It's like the third time she's told me this, so I really need to start calling her that. I'm heading home, I say, as if to explain. Oh, are you heading to the subway? She says, following the dog with a newspaper. Can you walk Jack to the bus stop? No problem. That okay with you, Jack? Mom asks, and he shrugs. Justin can stay with him till the bus comes? Of course. We all say our goodbyes, and Olivia winks at me. You don't have to stay with me, says Jack. We're walking up the block. I can take the bus by myself all the time. Augie's mom is too overprotective. He's got a low, gravelly voice like a little tough kid. He kind of looks like one of those Little Rascal kids, old black and white movies. Like he should be wearing newsboy cap and knickers. We get to the bus stop, and the schedule says the bus will be there in 8 minutes. I'll wait with you, I tell him. You don't have to, he shrugs. Hey, can I borrow $1? I want some gum. I fish $1 out of my pocket and watch him cross the street to the grocery store to the corner. He seems too small to be walking around by himself. Somehow, then I think how I was that young and I was taking the subway by myself, way too young. I'm going to be an overprotective dad someday, I just know it. My kids are going to know that I care. I'm waiting there for a minute or two, and I notice 3 kids walking up the block from the other direction. They walk right past the grocery store, but one of them looks inside, nudges the other 2, and they all back up and look inside. I can tell they're up to no good, elbowing each other and laughing. Then one of them, Jack's height, but the other 2 look much bigger, more like teens. They hide behind the fruit stand in front of the store, and when Jack walks out, they trail behind him, making loud throw-up noises. Jack casually turns around at the corner to see who they are, and then they run away, high-fiving each other, laughing little jerks. Jack crosses the street like nothing happened and stands next to me on the bus stop blowing a bubble. Friends of yours? I finally say. Ha! He says. He's trying to smile, but he can't because I can see he's upset. Just some jerks from my school, he says. A kid named Julian and his 2 gorillas, Henry and Miles. Do they bother you like that a lot? No. They've never done that before. They never do that in school or they get kicked out. Julian doesn't even live around here, so I guess he just bad luck running into him. Oh, okay, I nod. It's not a big deal, he assures me. We both automatically look down Amsford Avenue to see if the bus is coming. We're sort of in a war, he says in a minute, as if he explains everything. Then he pulls out the crumpled up piece of loose leaf paper. I get it in his jean pocket and he gives it to me. I unfold it and there's a list of names and columns. He turned the whole grade against me, says Jack. Not the whole grade, I point out, looking down the list. He leaves the notes in my locker that says stuff like, everybody hates you. You should tell your teacher about that. Jack looked at me like I'm an idiot and shakes his head. Anyway, you all have these neutrals. You do have these neutrals, I say, pointing on the list. If you get them on your side, maybe things will even up a bit. Yeah, well, that's really not going to happen, he says sarcastically. Why not? He shoots me another look like I'm absolutely the stupidest guy ever in the world. What? I say. He shakes his head. I'm hopeless. Let's just say, he says, I'm friends with someone who isn't exactly the most popular kid in the school. Then it hits me. What he's not coming out and saying is August. This is all about being friends with August, and he doesn't want to tell me because I'm his sister's boyfriend. Yeah, of course, that makes sense. We see the bus coming down from Amsford Avenue. Well, just hang in there, I tell him, handing back the paper. Middle school is about as bad as it gets, and then it gets a lot better. You'll see, everything will work out. He shrugs, shoves the list back in his pocket. He waves goodbye and gets on the bus, and I watch it pull away. When I get to the subway station 2 blocks away, I see the same 3 kids hanging out in front of the bagel place next door. They're still laughing and yucking each other like they're some kind of gangbangers, little rich boys in an expensive skinny jeans, acting tough. Don't know what possesses me, but I take my glasses off, I put them in my pocket, I tuck my fiddle case under my arms so the pointy side is facing up. I walk over to them. My face is scrunched up, mean looking, and they look at me, laughs dying in their lips when they see me. Ice cream cones at odd angles. Yo, listen up. Don't mess with Jack, I say really slowly, gritting my teeth, my voice like Clint Eastwood tough guy. Mess with him again, and you'll be very, very sorry. And then I tap my fiddle for effect. Got it? They nod in unison, ice cream dripping into their hands. Good. I nod mysteriously, then sprint down the subway 2 steps at a time. Rehearsal. The play day is taking up most of my time, and we get closer to opening night. Lots of lines to remember, long monologues, and there is just me talking. Olivia has this great idea, though, and it's helping. I have my fiddle with me on stage and play a little bit while I'm talking. It's not written that way, but Mr. Davenport thinks it adds an extra folksy element to have some stage manager plucking on a fiddle for me. So great because Whenever I need a second to remember my next line, I just start playing a little Soldier Boy Joy on my fiddle, and that buys me some time. I've gotten to know the kids in my show better, especially the pink-haired girl who plays Emily. Turns out she's not nearly as stuck up as I thought she was. Even the crowd she hangs with, her boyfriend is a jock who's big deal on the varsity sports circuit at school. It's a whole world I have nothing to do with. I'm kind of surprised that this Miranda girl turns out to be kind of nice. One day, we're sitting on the floor backstage waiting for the tech guys to fix the main spotlight. So, how long have you known Olivia been dating? She asks out of the blue. Oh, about 4 months now, I say. Have you met her brother? She says casually. It's so unexpected that I can't hide my surprise. You know Olivia's brother? I ask. Via didn't tell you? We used to be good friends. I've known Augie since he was a baby. Oh, yeah, I think I knew that, I answer. I don't want to let on that Olivia has not told me any of this. I don't want to let on how surprised I am that she called her Via. Nobody calls her, but Olivia's family call her Via. And that here pink-haired girl who I thought was a stranger is calling her Via. Miranda laughs and shakes her head, but doesn't say anything. There's an awkward silence, and then she starts fishing through her bag and pulls out her wallet. She rifles through a couple of pictures and then hands me one. It's of a little boy in a park on a sunny day. Ollie's wearing his shorts and a t-shirt and an astronaut helmet that covers his entire head. It was like 100 degrees that day, she says, smiling at the picture. He would not take that helmet off for anything. He wore it for like 2 years straight, in the winter, in the summer, at the beach. It was crazy. Yeah, I've seen pictures in Olivia's house. I'm the one who gave him that helmet, she says. She sounds a little proud of that. She takes the picture and carefully inserts it back into her wallet. Cool, I answered. So, you're okay with it, she says, looking at me. I look at her blankly. Okay with what? She raises her eyebrows as if she doesn't believe me. You know what I'm talking about, she says, and takes a long drink from her water bottle. Let's face it, she continues, the universe was not kind to Augie Pullman.